In today's Leeds news, fallout from last night, key stats from the win, under 21s lose out, Joseph injury labelled as very concerning, weekend's loan watch, and rumour mill stories on Harris Tabakovic, Cisse, and Federico Gatti. Morning folks, welcome to the Leeds View on Tuesday the 14th of April. I hope you're all having you should be having a really good day. I'm not even going to do the usual, I hope you're having a good day. You should be having a good day after what happened last night. Fantastic result for Leeds United last night. A very over-the-top reaction last night after the game. Very emotional last night. But massive thanks to everyone who joined us on the watch-along and who joined us for the instant match reaction, which I will, by the way, link at the end of the video. If you haven't seen it, you can check that out if you want to. But yeah, huge night for Leeds United. I said before this weekend's game, will this be the match that defines Leeds season? No, I still don't think it will be. We have to follow this up and go into the Wolverhampton Wanderers games and the Burnley games and go and win them just to make sure we get over the line. But a huge step forward for Leeds United in their plans on staying in the Premier League. There's a bit of fallout from last night to get stuck into as well. If you could like today's video, that would be massively appreciated and does help us out every single time that you do it. But there is a lot to get stuck into today. We'll start out with the fallout from last night's match. As everyone can imagine, at this point, there's been a huge amount of fallout from last night's win away at Manchester United. Rio Ferdinand's been whinging continuously online. Mark Goldbridge has actually backed Leeds United in some weird universal switch, as well as the positive vibes coming out of the Leeds United side. And we've also had Erling Haaland trolling Manchester United on X, as well as Michael Carrick and Bruno Fernandes having a great big cry in their interviews. But one of the big talking points that came out of last night was the red card to Lisandro Martinez for hair pulling, which didn't just catch the Manchester United players off guard. Apparently, it also caught the Leeds United players off guard. And James Justin was speaking about this after the match, and he said the following on the incident. We had a formula that was working, I would say, and then the sending off just changed everything. I don't really know, to be honest, because it's just bewildering to everyone. I'm not sure what happened. Obviously, it's nice to be playing against one less man for once this season, but we had to defend for our lives and obviously show the fans how much it meant for us on that pitch as well. We ended up getting 3 points, which is important. It is important. It's massively important. And again, a game that we wouldn't have targeted probably for 3 points this season. So it evens up a couple of the maybe lesser results we've had this year. And I've been saying for a while, for every Sunderland defeat, there's a Chelsea win. For every loss to Brentford, there's a draw against Liverpool. You know what I mean? Like, these have evened themselves out over the course of the year. But the red card is a huge talking point. Was it soft? Yeah, it was really, really soft. Would you like to see it given against your side? No, you wouldn't. And you'd be very annoyed if it was given. But for once this season, I don't care, because it's gone in Leeds' favour for a change. And when you go back to Pascal Strout being dragged to the ground against Sunderland and not getting a penalty, but the independent committee finding in Leeds' favour that they should have had a penalty. You look at the handball against Manchester City. You also look at Gabby Goodwinson's red card, which again the independent committee said wasn't a red card. It's about time the Leeds United got a bit of luck when it came to refereeing decisions and VAR. And by the letter of the law, if you pull here, it's a straight red card. So there is that as well. But ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, this was a huge night for Leeds United, and they need to follow up on this. There's no point in beating Manchester United away and then not getting a result at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers or Burnley. They're the ones that Leeds need to go and make sure they get done to get over the line. And Daniel Farke had a big night last night. He became the first Leeds United manager to win a top-flight game at Old Trafford since 1981. He also first Leeds manager in 39 years to get Leeds into an FA Cup semi-final. But he will know, and he'll be very realistic and pretty calm about this. He always says, don't get too high when it's going well and don't get too low when it's not going well. He'll know the job is not done. He'll celebrate when it's all done and dusted. But there was a huge amount of relief that came from him last night at the full-time whistle that was obvious to absolutely everybody. But we'll move on and talk about some of the key standout statistics from last night. And there's a few. Start off with Ao Tanaka. Leeds have won 39 of the 49 matches that Ao Tanaka has started. It's the best win ratio of any Leeds United player in the club's history with 61.2%. And we've also only lost 6 of those 49 games, which is the lowest loss percentage of any Leeds United player at just 12%. Now, Okafor is just the second Leeds United player to score 2 goals against Manchester United at Old Trafford since Joe Firth in November 1931. Leeds in the 2025-2026 season are only the 4th newly promoted side in the top flight history to remain unbeaten against Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester United in a single season. First side to do it since Sheffield Wednesday did it in 1991-1992. And Daniel Farke joins Dick Ray, Don Revie, Jimmy Armfield and Alan Clark as managers to win a league game at Old Trafford. And a massive thanks to Johnny Cooper, LUFC Data and Andrew Stats Dalton for the statistics as always. But yeah, huge night for Leeds, huge night for Daniel Farke. And again, as I say, got to push on, make sure we get the job done next weekend. And we already put this behind us and move forward to the next game. Enjoy it while we can. Let's enjoy it more if we can get a win at the weekend as well. Let's move into the under-21s news. Leeds under-21s were not as fortunate as the first team last night. They lost 3-2 at home to Leicester City. 2 goals from young Sam Alker, who normally plays in Leeds United under-18. So great to see him in the side, but not enough, unfortunately, for Leeds to get a win. Robbie Cook started in goal for Leeds after his time away with the Australian under-21 side. We move on. Matteo Joseph is next up. We've been waiting on some detail on Matteo Joseph's injury that has finished the season this year and could potentially finish his season next year as well, depending on how it goes. But it has put any transfer talk of the player on the very long finger for the foreseeable future. Right now, according to Estadio Deportivo, they've got some updates on Joseph's injury situation, and they've described the injury as a serious setback to the player and said that it's a very concerning injury from what they have heard at this point. Joseph is believed to have torn his ACL, which is a long-term injury. And both Leeds United and Mallorca have not overly directly commented on exactly what the detail around this is just yet. Now, there's reasons for that. Joseph's time off has been labelled by Estadio Deportivo as potentially a long-term injury layoff. And Joseph will now miss, as I say, the rest of this season and likely to miss a major part of, if not the entirety of next season as well, if the injury is as serious as Estadio Deportivo are reporting today. But Ultimo Hora have also had some news on this, and they say that Joseph will undergo surgery in the next few days on the injury. And at that point, we're likely to hear from Leeds or Mallorca what the extent of the damage actually is and what his likely layoff is going to be. But yeah, apparently this decision has been made as a joint decision between both sides to get the operation done right now. So yeah, it's a serious injury. I hope he can come back from this. You don't want to see young players ever pick up an injury of this severity, or any injury at all, but you know what I mean, in this severity. So fingers crossed for him, the surgery goes well and he can get back playing as soon as possible. Let's move into the weekend's Loan Watch. We're a little bit later than normal with Loan Watch, given that there was a game yesterday, but we started off with Harry Gray, who started and played 90 minutes for Rotherham as they lost 3-1 at home to Barnsley. Joe Gelhardt started on the bench for Hull City and came on in the 71st minute, but they lost 2-1 to Sheffield United. Isaac Schmidt started on the bench and came on in the 79th minute for Werder Bremen as they lost 3-1 away to Cologne. Max Vober still out injured. Large Ramazani had 90 minutes for Valencia as they lost 1-0 away to Elche, 2 defeats in a row for them. Jack Harrison started and played 90 minutes last night for Fiorentina as they beat Lazio at home 1-0, and Harrison got another assist. That's 2 on the bounce for him. Rory Mahadi remains a backup option for Scunthorpe United. No appearance again this week. An unused sub as they won 1-0 at home to Brackley. Alex Baird played 90 minutes for Bridlington Town as they drew 1-1 at home to Newton Alcliffe. Connor Douglas started and played 90 minutes for Buxton in their 2-0 win at home to Scarborough. And Leeds United fellow under-21 Kenneth Mensah also played in that game for Scarborough, coming off the bench in the 60th minute. Darrell Lombang played 90 minutes for FC United of Manchester against Guiseley as they won 5-2 away from home. We'll jump into the rumour mill territory. As always with this, take it all with a pinch of salt. We'll keep track of it over the next couple of weeks and months, and we'll see once the summer window opens who's telling the truth and who's been telling porkies. But we'll keep an eye on them. We'll start off though one that did pop up last week, and it's Haris Tabakovic, who's popped up yet again. Last week, Bill said that Leeds United had some interest in Haris Tabakovic from Borussia Mönchengladbach, and now, according to RP Online, they've also said Leeds have interest, and they said Leeds could move for the Bosnian striker for a fee of just £4.2 million. The same report also says that Leeds United apparently are unlikely to offer Lucas Mecha a new contract come the end of this season. Mecha only signed a 2-year deal at Leeds. He's out of contract come next summer, so he will be into his final year of his deal in the summer. So it's an interesting one to keep an eye on, but Tabakovic has got a better goal to minute ratio than Mecha, although Mecha is younger at 27 years of age. Tabakovic is 31, and for me is probably too far above what the 49ers enterprises tend to go for when it comes to transfers. But he is seen as an absolute pure target man, so it'll be interesting to see what Leeds do in that striking department with Mecha, and if they do bring another player in. We know they're looking at a target man because they tried to sign Strand Larson in January, so that's likely to be an obvious one coming into the summer. The other one that's been linked over the last couple of days, and this isn't coming from a reliable source at all, so huge pinch of salt with this, and it's Joey Cisse. But according to MediaFoot, they say Leeds United and Arsenal are both interested in signing the French under-21 midfielder this summer. The outlet says that Leeds apparently, and it's a big apparently, have held initial talks with his representatives to gauge an interest from the player. He's 22 years of age. He's 6'1". He's a big young lad. He's only started 12 games in the French top flight this year, but has played in 22 league games overall this season. There is said, as I mentioned, interest from Arsenal, but there's also said to be a lot of interest from Europe as well. At the moment, there's no confirmed interest from anybody else outside of this one outlet. They're not massively reliable. They do also say, by the way, that Stade Rennes haven't ruled out a sale of the young under-21 international at this point, but we'll have to wait and see. And I'm just not convinced by the outlet, but we'll have to wait and see. The next one to talk about is Federico Gatti, and according to Calcio Mercato, they say that Leeds United have been linked with a move for Juventus centre-back Federico Gatti. Juventus could sell, as they are apparently needing to raise funds for their summer transfer kitty this year. And he's not been an ever-present in the Juventus side. A fee of in and around £21.7 million is being touted at this point, but Leeds are said to be one of several clubs who are keeping an eye on the Italian international centre-half. He is on pretty high wages. He's bringing in about £5 million per year, so that's going to be a factor in this as well. He's 6'2" in height. He's got a good aerial presence. He wins about 66% of his aerial duels in games, and he is seen as a very good passer of the ball with a 90+% accuracy from his ground passes, specifically even more so in his own half as well. So decent passer of the ball, good age, good height. Another good option for Leeds United in that centre-back area should they decide to move for it. We'll see what happens with Sebastian Barnell in the summer as well. But yeah, Leeds need another centre-back for me in the summer. They do. I definitely think we need another centre-back. The fact that James Justin's been playing in that back three ahead of Sebastian Barnell would tell you Leeds probably need another option in there, especially if they do have injuries, which we've had question marks over a few of them this season. So yeah, fingers crossed. Again, as I say, all of these massive chunk of salt, we'll add them to the list. We'll do a short list video once the season is over with the labelled interest of the player, as well as the outlet that have linked Leeds with a move from, and then we'll see which of them end up being true, or what kind of positions it looks, at least from a short list or an interest perspective, Leeds United are looking at coming into the summer transfer window. But let's get there first and we'll see what happens. Folks, thanks as always for joining me. You can check out last night's instant match reaction if you want it down below. And we will have the podcast out tonight with myself, Paul and Jerry digesting what has happened over last night's game and a little look ahead to the weekend's action as well. Have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. See you later.